This is JMSN, and you know I got soul.
Alright, JMSN, so put out the Blue album a couple months back. Can you kind of just talk about the project and how it's been received?
It seems well so far, been received well. It's crazy. It was a big step for me putting out that album because it was a step in another direction for me. You know what I mean? So it's nice that it's been received so well.
Right, and the progression in your music since Priscilla, I've noticed your sound has continued to evolve. It's a little brighter than initially when you first started. Can you just talk about how your sound has evolved since Priscilla?
Well, it's evolved. It's a product of myself growing up and evolving,
right.
As a person, and it's a reflection of that. And I'm not in the same spot where I used to be,
right.
With Priscilla and the album after that. I feel like I'm a little more, dare I say, happy.
Right.
So, I'm still trying to figure it out, though.
Right.
There's still a lot of doubt. There's still a lot of things. And, Blue Album still touches on stuff that's not, super happy. But you can tell that, I'm figuring it out rather than acting like it's the end of the world.
Right. And something that's really impressed me about you is that you've been able to build up your following online through SoundCloud, through social media. How have you been able to do that as an independent artist, just to build up your brand like that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I just put out music and what I think is quality music, and I try to stay connected with fans. And I use social media like that, and it's worked so far.
Right.
So,
Do you think it's a certain song, or maybe it was Priscilla that allowed you just to blow up like you did? Do you think it's a certain song in particular that caught everyone's attention?
I have no idea.
Right.
I try to just keep making music and keep making better music, just so it's. I feel like it's still happening every day. I don't think that I've blown up or anything. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm still getting to where I want to be. You know, and it's going to be a combination of a lot of things that get me there. You know?
I mean, just on an independent level, I think you've gained a lot of attention, and it's allowed you to go on tour. Like you're on tour right now. Can you just kind of talk about the tour and how it's been so far?
It's been great. I didn't know what to expect. Going on tour. This is our first headlining tour.
Right.
It was crazy to get such a positive response in the places that we've been, and surprisingly positive in so many places. Selling out shows. It's crazy. It's surreal. You don't know what to think about it. It's you strive and you work for something so much, and then when you get it, you're like, what? So it worked.
Right. And she's not here today, but you brought Rochelle Jordan along for this tour. Talk about why you decided to go with her. We're actually big supporters of her.
Yeah, no, I'm just a fan of what she's doing, and that's why I got on that one song, that low key song, because I was just a fan of the song,
Right.
And I thought that it could be a cool thing to accent what we're doing.
Right.
So.
And, along with that, I want to just take it back to the beginnings because, your sound is so unique, so different. So just talk about what your influences were growing up, or who were some of your influences?
A lot. I had a lot of influences from a whole bunch of different places.
Right.
Whitney Houston, Phil Collins, and then go to Pink Floyd's and Led Zeppelin's and Radiohead and Fiona Apple and R. Kelly.
Right.
And it's all across the board, just everywhere.
Right. And, just looking up on your history a little bit, you've had a couple of different situations, signed to a couple of major labels. Of course, you have your own label now. What do you think is the biggest difference so far that you've noticed with being signed to a major versus, running your own show?
The biggest difference is freedom.
Okay.
I feel like there's freedom in not having to answer to anybody but yourself.
Right.
Which, it keeps you on your toes because you have to keep yourself working hard because nobody else is going to do that. Which, granted, when you're on a record company, it's the same thing. You still have to go out and do it. You can't depend on anybody else to do it for you. But the freedom of everything, and freedom to make the music I want, freedom to put out what videos I want when I want, freedom is a very important thing to me. It's what I strive for every day in my life. You know, the more freedom, the better my life quality will be.
Yeah. And, you know, speaking of, you know, being signed to a major label, I've noticed that your music has changed so much since then. Mm-hmm. Would you say that the sound that you were working on before, the music that you were working on before, was that just kind of a reflection of your life at that time, or was that just more so the major label pushing you towards
it was definitely that, as well as a major label pushing it. But the thing is, the reason why that was a reflection of my life is because I was letting these people influence my life. And my life has always been music. So whatever music I was making, whether it was being influenced by somebody else, it was part of my life, you know what I mean? So when I was making that, I was being influenced by a lot of other outside noise, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that wasn't part of my life, because it was. You know, it's just when I started listening to myself, it's when I started making JMSN stuff, you know what I mean? And I stopped listening to all the noise. You know, there's always going to be noise,
yeah,
but it's just tuning it out and,
right,
and learning to trust yourself.
Right. But I think what's really impressive about, you know, the past music that you've done and the stuff now is your versatility, that you were able to mix different genres and also just dibble and dabble in different genres. How important do you think it is for your versatility to come into play? Because I know you also produce, you write, you do all these things. So how did you kind of, you know, develop that stuff?
Well, just being interested in a bunch of different things. Like I told you, my influences just, I'm interested in all types of music, you know what I mean? It's not, there's no box to it, and I'm trying to make it all make sense every day. Right. You know, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah. And, you know, of course, we're at the JMSN point in your life now. You know, how did that all come about? Because, you know, we talked about how you were at different major label situations, left that stuff. So how did you kind of get to where you are now?
It started with, I had made Priscilla the record, and this was at the tail end of my deal, because I had made the record and I had showed them the record, and this was I had released "Girl I Used to Know" as a Christian TV song, which was a lot different than all the Christian TV stuff that I had been doing before. And I was like, this is the direction I want to go, which is why you still see, like, on the internet, there's a video, it's "Girl I Used to Know," it's a Christian TV video. And they're like, well, we don't want to put this out. This is not something we can push to radio and all that stuff. And I was like, well, just let me, I'm going to go do it. I'm changing up my shit. I'm not listening to whatever fuck you guys are saying anymore. I'm just going to go do this. And they let me do that, and that was, you know, how JMSN started. You know, like I said, I stopped listening to all the outside noise and started listening to myself. And I just wanted to be happy doing what I wanted to do. You know, as an artist, that's I feel like that's what you should strive for. I mean, I don't want to say what you should do, but that's what I strive for as an artist.
So, you know, you left that situation. Moving forward, because you've been able to develop your own sound, being able to, you know, have that following, would you ever consider signing with a major again, or are you happy as an indie artist?
I mean, I'm happy as an indie artist, but, you know, who knows? We'll see what happens. Right. I have no idea. I would have to know what the situation is, and to tell you that I can't predict the future. Right. You know what I mean? I'm open, you know what I mean? I'm not closed off to anything. You could ask that question of do you think there's a possibility of this and that? And it's like, I don't know, you know, I can't predict the future. Maybe I'll change, maybe tomorrow I'll start rapping. Who knows? I hope I don't, right? But
right. And, you know, with your sound, it's so unique. I feel like you were one of the pioneers in this whole alternative R&B type of sound that's been going on. And, you know, now a lot of indie artists are catching attention for that same type of vibe. Do you feel like kind of nowadays there's kind of an oversaturation with that sound?
I don't know. I don't really, I don't pay attention that deeply to trends and stuff like that. And that's why, you know, the Blue album was a step away from that as well. You know, I was kind of wanted to step out of that. You know what I mean? Because I don't care to be a pioneer of a genre. I want to be an artist just with no genre. I want it to be the JMSN genre. Right. You know what I mean? So that I'm taking steps towards that. You know, not worried about fitting in any type of genres. And yeah, there's always going to be an oversaturation of of stuff if you're listening to that genre long enough. I mean, there's an oversaturation of rappers. You know what I mean? But if you're digging that deep, yeah, you're gonna get oversaturated. So it's all what you're looking for,
right? And moving forward, going on tour right now. What else can we expect from you coming up?
We're going to Europe, doing tour over there. Touring in May, U.S. again, the places we missed, and a lot more videos. We're gonna have a video for every song, so we'll be releasing those fairly soon here too.
Cool. And anything you'd like to add?
Just do what you want to do. Don't give up to all the people out there listening.